Good morning, my fellow students. So this is going to be the long version of what I call the casualness of Jesus' healings. I have gone through this and given at least 3 different breakdowns on Luke, from Luke 5:18 to 5:26. The story of the man who was lowered through the roof. The Pharisees and the scribes were sitting there. The people on the outside tearing a roof off to get inside where the Pharisees were sitting and didn't even pay attention to Jesus. Now look, part of this podcast is to teach you how to research the Word. In front of me over here is a script, which is not really a script, it's just bullet points that I'm going to go through that will help you learn. This is not about my presentation and what I'm reading. This is about you using a tool that is going to fundamentally change your ability to understand the Word. You don't have to go and listen to someone hate the Bible, New Age stuff, or a pastor who just wants to get a paycheck and is fighting for his life every day because of his own spiritual condition. So let's go through this. Luke 5:18 to 26. What happened was I started studying it this time. This is the 3rd time I've gone through this. And I said, Jesus, he heals with a casualness, but it is not casual. Believe it or not, because the way I study with chat, it actually corrected me. It says, no. There's no casualness in the way Jesus healed. The authority was within him. He didn't have to ask for it. All right, so let's go through this. He didn't heal like a prophet, waiting for power to arrive. All right, and plus, you don't even have to go through this whole thing. Just go pull it up on chat and say, give me a deeper understanding of how easily he healed. Give me the examples of how Jesus healed throughout the Word. So, I love this statement. God's authority was not merely passing through Jesus, it belonged to him. He didn't strain, he didn't plead, he didn't prepare, he didn't work himself into a tizzy of a spiritual state, throw his hands on somebody, they go flying across the room and they're healed. You follow me? He spoke and sickness obeyed. He commanded and demons fled. He called and the dead rose. He rebuked the wind and creation became still. When people ask, he says, I am willing, be cleansed. Now, I got stuff in front of me, but I'm picking and choosing here. And I've gone through all this and said, look, this is what I want. Break this down. Let me rewrite this. Let me figure out what I want to do with it. This has taken a little time to do. I don't just take things from AI and read it word for word. In fact, I don't use any of its commentary is ridiculous. But I have bullet points in front of me that tell me this, and my goal is this: not to say, let me get more likes, let me get more views. My goal is to stay in my lane and say, look, you can do this. They talk about self-enlightenment, self-awareness, self-awakening. The only thing I want from you to do and to learn from this is to realize you have the ability to get the most important information in your life into your mind and your heart. Your heart is the command center. And when you start digging like this, I keep using the analogy of the net. It gets tighter and tighter and tighter. Nothing is leaking through. So don't waste your time looking at all these videos where people are saying, here's a contradiction, here's this, how did this happen? If I read this literally, divinity is within you. Show me a divine human being. I'm going to be like, oh, you got to be kidding me. A divine human being? You mean there's divinity inside that? Don't put new wine inside old wineskins? That's interesting. What'll happen? It'll blow up. So he says, I am willing, be cleansed. He just just did it. Just like that. Didn't ask anybody. Get up, pick up your bed, go home. Hey, listen how calm he was. He did what he needed to do. He said, go. All right? Get up, pick up your bed, and go home. Peace be still. Young man, I say to you, arise. Lazarus, come out. These weren't requests made by a servant. They were commands issued by the master. Not what New Age wants, not a master, the master. That is singular. The prophets, they prayed to God to act, for God to act. I mean, they did what we would see today. The apostles healed in the name of Jesus. And Jesus said, you know, he used the words, I say to you. He didn't ask. He didn't ask. He didn't borrow authority. He didn't gather authority. He didn't wait for authority. He just did it. He exercised authority that was already his. Oh, the centurion, he understood this. There are those beneath me. Do what I do. So he knew the Satanist was below Jesus. And so he didn't even need to travel. The centurion got it. But the point is, we're not doing this on centurion. We're doing this on all the ways that Jesus performed miracles. And there is a serious thread there. I use the word casualness. That's not a great word. He did it with authority. His will. All right? He didn't need to travel somewhere. He didn't need to touch anybody. He could walk through a crowd of people. They touched him. I got to feel, all he had to do was look at people. Oh, I'm sure that's all he had to do was look. He didn't have to touch anybody. Speak. Because out of his mouth will come a double-edged sword. He stayed composed. Didn't lose his cool. I don't believe he lost his cool the day he came in and threw the tables over, because in the temple, because he'd come in the day before and looked around. Said, you know what, I'll come back tomorrow and take care of this situation. He knew how much time he had left. Distance, it didn't weaken his authority. All he had to do was speak. Demons, they screamed, they pleaded, they fled, they convulsed. They were frantic because they knew exactly who was standing before them. They were frantic. They didn't know what to do. And he showed compassion, but please, someone show me in the Word where Jesus ever showed uncertainty. Uncertainty. He showed emotion. He showed compassion. He wept at Lazarus' tomb, but he didn't fear the tomb. He could be emotionally moved without being spiritually threatened. He did cry. I mean, he was in Garden of Gethsemane. He knew what was coming for him. He did incredible, impossible miracles, and then gave regular orders. To him, it was, to us in America today, English, casual. I just did the impossible. Now, go take up your mat and go home. Come out of the tomb. Come on. He didn't celebrate himself. He didn't say, oh, look what I've done. Hey, everybody, let's make a big presentation of it. He didn't explain how difficult the miracle was. He didn't seek applause. He wasn't looking for people to come and say, oh, he did. What he wanted was for us to come to him and listen to his lessons. Can you imagine being in that crowd and having him speak for 3 days? Now, he didn't speak continuously, I'm sure. He would come up, probably speak for a little bit, go back, sit, talk to the disciples. It said he slipped away many times. He was probably able to slip away here and there. But for 3 days, the beauty of that, would we have understood and appreciated that? So Jesus, he restored the person. He moved forward. Everything that overwhelms us did not overwhelm him. Demons, horrible sickness, leprosy, lameness, blindness. He was calm in the face of all things. I mean, Pilate had him there. Here's the governor of Judea. Jesus knew what was going to happen. Didn't speak. It wasn't just, he never showed disrespect. He told it how it was. He had unrestrained authority. It was the composure of someone who had complete divine authority. I mean, the man had composure all the time. All it did was the miracle showed what he could do. He said, forgive, is it easier to forgive a man's sins? The miracle revealed his power. If you want to use, he showed the authority of his ownership of the authority. And he didn't act like somebody who was just coming in as a visitor, borrowing authority. Come here, God, I need help. He didn't speak like that. He acted like the Son, standing inside or operating with what was already within him. So again, I'll just run 10 minutes. If you want to cut the video off in 2 seconds, be my guest. But start using the tools you have. All right, you've got eSword, you've got commentaries. I like to ask about the ancients. That is the importance here. You can do research on a scale never before. I mean, I've got people that get angry at me because they say, AI is bad, it's evil, it's going to take over the world, the data centers. It's already here. It's not going anywhere. The weapon is out. All you got to do is read history where guns replace swords. The genie is out of the bottle. The cat's out of the bag. The dog that's rabid bites everybody. The cat and the genie is AI. The dog is those that are going to use it to bite everybody as hard as they can, as fast as they can, using this tool to destroy and break us into factions, and use whatever they can with the New Age, with atheism, and they're going to use the information that they can grab from this system that's out there, but there's not. Listen, we have a huge advantage. We have more information on the Bible than any other book ever made. And I just think here's the way I'm going to break it down. Those that are against God, straight up atheists, are somebody who was hurt. You can take that Eastern philosophy and say, look at the condition of their countries. Where did it take them? Very few. What? So anyway, use the tool. This was just a simple way to show you how fast you can break down 10 verses 3 different times and get more and more and more lessons that all tie together. Have a great day.